Good morning, everyone. Today is May 18th, 2021. This is StockCast, your pre-market show. My name is James Mason. With me is Todd Derby. Todd, how you doing this morning?
Doing well. Good morning to you and everyone else. Make sure you hit the like button. Helps us sort of get a message out. So, not much going on in the market today. Pretty
yeah,
slow.
But the past 2 days, at least we had something to talk about. So I guess we're kind of back to normal routine. Low volume, no news. And that's pretty much it. So, all right. So pre-market this morning, again, very low volume up to this point and very little significant news. But we do have two to basically watch out for in the context of buyer beware. Ooh. That's
buyer beware every trade.
Yeah. All right, let's just get into it. So drop your tickers in the comment section. Okay. All right, let's start off with ticker ULBI. So this is ultralight batteries, and this thing is getting this after hours pre-market push. Well, kind of just pull back pre-market, but get the after hours push yesterday off the announcement that they are, in their words, to compete for a $1.25 billion Army contract. So let's talk about the fundamentals really quick first. Last update for short interest, 165,000 shares being shorted, 1.6% on the float. Days to cover 1.3. Really not much there. Shares outstanding, we'll round it up to 16 million to float, 10.3 million shares. The only thing significant here that I see is it's held by institutions, and 70% of the shares are being held. Now, everybody's going to jump on this whole FOMO train with that whole $1.25 billion phrase right there. Everybody's going to be losing their minds. This is why this thing pushed up like this. The truth is, nothing is official until it's official, especially in the government. And if there are not contracts in place, then it doesn't matter. It didn't happen. Anybody and their mom can literally go up for a bid for any of these contracts. You right now could apply for the same contract that they're talking about they're going to compete for. To compete for these government bids is meaningless. The only thing you have to do is to be an official company. You start off with getting your DUNS number, and then after that, you have to go get your cage number, and then, man, there's one more important number that you have to get. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then after you get all these numbers, you then apply on the government bids website, and that's pretty much it. After that, it's having the product. You know, especially if you win these bids, you better have the product. So, yeah, this thing is just pushing up right now because it's a low float, and to really kind of even put this out in the form of a PR is just a pump. Now let's look at it on the daily chart.
But this is what we've talked about this about other tickers, that how the companies mishandle their stock pricing, where this helps them keep or maintain a certain price. Mm-hmm. So it is a pump, but this goes back to your opening statement, buyer beware. So just understand what's going on here. It's not a bad thing, but it's also something that you're not going to dump your portfolio and chase heavy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's great if you was in it yesterday at $8 or whatever.
Correct.
But today, chasing it, probably not a good idea. Me personally, I can kind of see this doing a little bounce here at the beginning of the bell, coming probably testing this 11-20 range and breaking above it. It possibly might test this mid-12 range, but I can see this thing getting rejected and just selling off, being a fader today. But let's take a look at it on the daily chart. Let me clear up some of this noise for y'all. All right. So you see these daily candlesticks right here. And this little hash line that you probably can't see, but I will actually draw. Let's make this line let's see. We'll make it blue. So now you don't see this line. This is where we are at pre-market. Let me back out some more. All right. On my charts, we're literally looking from present day back to September of 2009. And you can see how much this has, chopped around over the years, which is normal. But we can see the high right here right around 12. But pre-market, we did break those highs above that range. So, we do have that low float breakout setup taking place, but again, we've already pulled back. Now, zooming in, how we talked about in the past, look at these daily candlesticks. From where it was at right here, this gap up is just unrealistic for it to maintain on the daily chart. So right here, yesterday it was, and then here we are, we're gapping this much distance up the chart. And when it does that, we are so far beyond our normal range, our normal trading range, that it's just going to navigate itself back down into its normal zone. So that's why, I was saying, buyer beware, watch out for this. This thing is probably going to have a little push. It's going to fake people out, and then it's just going to peel back and just sell off and probably just bleed out for the next few days. So just be careful. Watch out for that. If you were in this before it spiked, perfect. Me personally, I would have took my profits. But man, don't get caught up in the FOMO. Any one of us can apply for that same contract. But you'll see people online throwing that out as they got a $1.25 billion deal with the Army, and it's not true, and it really means nothing at this point. So that is ticker ULBI.
1.2 billion. Is that like 50 hammers?
I can tell you so many stories. Golly. Government waste. It is
sickening.
Government waste is an art. Only certain people can just waste money like that, and it's impressive how it happens. It's just mind-blowing. All right, so the next ticker to kind of watch out for, also in the context of don't get fooled. Ticker MIPO. So last update for its short interest, 106,000 shares being shorted. There's pretty much nothing here being shorted. Shares outstanding, 55.6 million. The float, 15.6 million. And for the news, they released a 6K. And so pretty much their earnings. This is just pushing up on their earnings. And really nothing more to it. So let's go out to the daily chart here. So we see these daily candlesticks and how recently we actually just had a spike here to test this one little breakout zone. And this is where we closed out yesterday, and we gapped up this much. So just like I was talking about a moment ago with ULBI, we're so far from its normal trading range on a daily chart that it's going to want to come back into its normal zone. And what we'll probably see here as well is we'll probably see this a little bullish push coming out of the gates of the market, and then it will pull back and just sell off and just bleed red until on the daily chart it just kind of comes back down here and consolidates, and it will find itself setting up for a run in the future. So again, guys, like when you see these pre-market runners or after hour runners, especially on low floats, if there's no news, and especially like an earnings play, when it's just so far beyond its norm and gapping up or even gapping down from the daily chart itself, it's gonna try to correct that overreaction that it has made and want to come back into its normal zone. So again, guys, please do not get caught up on chasing these gap plays. They usually tend to run up, and then people think that, oh, it's going to bounce for sure and go back up there and break that pre-market high and just run until it goes to the moon. And that's just not how it works. So this is actually, if we do see a bullish push here out the gates, this one will probably be heavily shorted by every bearish group out there on the market, because we have very little news. So this is going to be a dangerous play going long in. And that is ticker MIPO.
Hey, take a look at ticker AGEN. It just popped.
AGEN.
Just got released some news here a few minutes ago, and it just gapped up.
All right, so Bristol Myers to pay up to $1.38 billion to develop and sell. Hold on, I'm trying to go through these headlines. All right, so I'm just trying to dig through these headlines real quick, and they're streaming. All right, so basically there's some deal on the table, and of course this is just breaking news right now. We'll need to see what comes out of this to see if there's actually any substance. I mean, we are talking about a potential $1 billion deal. But right now, I mean, the news is early. So last update, short interest. Shares short, 27 million shares being shorted, 15% in the float, days to cover 7.4. Shares outstanding, 222.4 million shares. The float, 178.3 million shares. So we do have a decent little bit of shares on the market here. But if we're talking billions, we're talking literally that deal alone would double their market cap. And as you can see, I mean, we've already pushed up 30% here. But I mean, we have gapped up so much to this point that we need to be careful and watch for that pullback.
It's pulling back now. It has gapped, and it hasn't shown a green candle. It's been all red. It just gapped and come right back down. It looks like this is decent.
Yeah, it literally closed out at 326 yesterday, and then it opened at 461. So I mean, such a significant gap there that it's just going to bleed. Again, we're looking at this daily chart. Same thing, guys. Hardcore gap. It's just way beyond its range on this daily chart. It's going to want to come back down and get back to where it needs to be. So right now, for me, this would be a no-go. Even if this thing would print another green candlestick and even break that high, I wouldn't care. It's just, I would actually wait for that short setup, because it's just such a overreaction here pre-market, looking at this daily chart, that I know it's going to bleed off and just end up being a fader, and it's going to want to come back down here to this 9 EMA line, this white line. That's just how it works. Also, too, I mean, there's so many shares on the market. Let's see, what did I say? 222.4 million shares on the market. Think about all these people here who are chasing FOMO. They thought that they were just getting this healthy pullback at this point, and they were trying to go long. Well, this thing just kept selling off. All of these people are begging for mercy to get out of this damn trade. And when it gaps up that significantly on the daily chart, all these people are just like, shit, I'm breaking even, or I just made a little bit of profit. I'm getting out. And they are. And so you have this combination of this overreaction on this daily chart. Pre-market, it gapped up so much beyond its normal trading zone. You have all these people dying to get out of this trade, and they'll do it at all costs. And then you have the bears on top of it, that they're just like, oh man, this is opportunity. These people are tired of experiencing pain. It's way beyond its normal range. Perfect setup to short. And if you look at this later on, there's a good chance that you'll probably see it do what I was saying. Now, in the future, after we see it bleed off and come back down here and consolidate, hopefully we can consolidate around this range. Change this line. Actually, no, we'll keep it blue. Hopefully we can consolidate between 368 and that lower $4 range on the daily chart. And by consolidate, I don't mean just today. I mean like days, maybe a couple weeks worth of time frame here. So it come back down here on the daily chart, consolidate, goes sideways, and then I'd wait for it to come back up to break this pre-market high. We'll go up to 465. And then that would be my entry in the future. But until then, this would be something I would avoid until this thing comes back down here and starts wanting to trade like a normal stock and kind of get its bearing back. So, again, guys, all these people are going to want to be getting out, and this is going to take on a new batch of investors in the future to flatten this out and to carry this higher. So
a new batch of bag holders.
Well, I wouldn't say that. Like, everybody is so quick to say the term bag holders, to where it's kind of actually lost its whole relevance. But yeah. So guys, again, we need to see this pullback, consolidate, and then later in the future, when it runs breaking above 465, that's what I see as a breakout point. Target price. Let's see. Target price on this is going to be between $538 to $619. So that will be the selling zone. And that's with that entire setup. So that's the only thing I'd be looking at for this trade, if and when this would set up in the future. And that's just kind of how I'd personally trade it. But this is ticker AGEN.
Go back to ticker ULBI. It's taken a pop since we've been talking. Take a look at it.
So this is, again, like I was saying before the bell, that little bullish spike. That's what I was kind of expecting, and how I was saying, like, it would probably test that 11.22 range, possibly come up here, test that 12.23 range. Again, guys, like, and we could break above that. I mean, you just don't know with the stock market. But when I say we could break above it, I just don't see this thing really breaking out and running. That's not real news. I mean, it's a fluff article. Anybody can compete for that at 1 point. What was it again?
1.6.
Oh no, $1.25 billion contract. Yeah, anybody can compete for that contract. So that's just not even news at all. So watch out for this.
I think it's setting up for a nice short opportunity. I'm watching it with the TTBBE enters and exit indicator, waiting for a short indicator.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's going to pop up into this range, and it's just going to end up being a fader.
Yeah, a couple more strong green candles, and especially if it gets over 12, it'll become real juicy.
But all right. So, Todd, that is all I have for this morning.
No, good show. Good chat. 3 good tickers. Be safe. Make sure you hit the like button, please. Hit the subscribe button. Helps build our audience. And safe trading today.
All right, everyone. So we appreciate y'all tuning in. And again, trade safe, and we will catch y'all in the next one.